This is the plaintiff, Willie Gaddison. He says he gave the defendant money for an apartment he was going to move into. But unfortunately, his daughter passed away tragically, and he was unable to come up with the rent money. He told the defendant and asked for his deposits back, but the cold-hearted man told him to take him to court. So here they are. He's suing for $1,350. Money's paid for the first month's rent and security. This is the defendant, Dr. Tommy Doerr. He says he tries to help people whenever he can, and he fell for the plaintiff's story hook, line, and sinker. The guy, however, wasn't being truthful with him, led him to believe he was going to rent the apartment. So he stopped advertising it, and sure enough, the plaintiff double-crossed him, so he owes nothing. He's accused of having no heart.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff was going to move into the defendant's apartment, but his daughter died. He couldn't afford the rent and now can't get his security back. But the defendant says the guy is a liar. It's the case of major insecurity.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Willie Gaddison?
Yes.
You are suing Dr. Tommy Doerr for $1,350 that you paid towards 1 month's rent and security deposit, which you want returned to you. Tell me what's going on.
Yes. I was renting an apartment from Mr. Dern, and
Is it doctor or Mr.?
Reverend Doctor.
Reverend Doctor. What's your, do you have a doctorate?
Theology.
Theology. Okay, go ahead.
okay, I was renting an apartment from him, and you know, the first apartment, I gave him a $50 deposit down.
And you were supposed to move in when?
I think that was in November, if I'm not mistaken.
And when were you supposed to move in November?
I was supposed to move in December.
December 1st. And so how much money were you supposed to come up with by December 1st?
I was supposed to come up with $2,100.
And did you?
No.
What did you come up with by then?
I gave him a $500 deposit.
Okay, and then, so what happened with that apartment?
He gave the apartment away.
Okay.
That was the first apartment.
Okay.
And then he was talking about apartment in East Orange.
Okay.
So, like I told him, I really didn't want to move in East Orange, but to make a long story short, we ended up going up there, looking at it, and we decided we was gonna move there,
Okay.
me and my wife.
Okay.
So me and him made an agreement to move in, but the apartment.
And when were you supposed to move into that apartment?
December 1st.
Okay.
But the apartment wasn't ready.
Okay.
So.
What does that mean, it wasn't ready?
He had all types of stuff. It was a lot of work needed to be done to the
Like what?
apartment.
Be specific. What was wrong with it?
It needed to be painted. It was holes in the walls, in the closet. He had all kinds of furniture in this apartment that was supposed to been taken out that Monday. Like I told him, I wouldn't move in the apartment until the paint job was done.
Did you have all the money by then?
Nah.
Okay, how much had you paid by then?
Maybe about $1,100 or something like that.
Okay, but you're supposed to come up with a certain amount of money on a certain day. How much money for that second apartment were you supposed to come up with, and on what day?
I was supposed to come up with $2,100.
Okay, on what day?
Whenever the apartment was ready.
Okay.
And the apartment never was ready because I was the one doing the work.
Oh, well, why didn't you have the apartment ready for yourself? That's a little twist. Come on up. Your wife wants to speak for you. Does that happen a lot? Okay, go ahead.
What happened was that when his son had taken us to look at the apartment.
Whose son?
Dr. Durst.
Okay.
And we explained to him what needed to be done or what we would like to be done to the apartment. There were some loose tiles in the kitchen floor. The kitchen sink, there was no floor under the kitchen sink, like molding and mildewed and everything. There was a hole in the walk-in closet with lighting that needed to be done, and a lot of furniture that wasn't ours that was still in the apartment.
And this is all when?
This was in December.
Oh, in December.
Yeah, it was in December because we worked on this apartment about 2 months.
So
why 2 months?
Because I was working and I was trying to fix this apartment up. Like I told him.
I know, but did he keep the apartment open for you for 2 months without you paying rent?
Yeah. I was paying on it as I was working on it.
Okay, okay, but in the end, how much money went from your hands to his?
$1,300.
Okay, and the rent is how much?
$850.
Okay, and you're taking longer than 2 months to finish the place to move in to start paying rent. You understand that $850 plus $850 is more than the 13 whatever. What did you want to say?
Well, what I was going to say was that when I asked Dr. Durr to clean out the apartment, to get everything, just take the stuff away out of the apartment, he said it would be done by Monday. It never happened.
Did you ever come up with the money?
I think he owed $750. The last he owed
Right.
$750.
The money wasn't a problem because
The money wasn't a problem.
If he had
Watch
had,
this, Dr. Durr, was the money a problem?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's his money. It's
Of
not a
course.
problem to you, but it's a problem to him.
I left $750 balance just until the apartment was finished.
Okay, let me hear your response to this.
99% of what he said is a lie.
Okay.
They came to me in November. They wanted to rent an apartment. I showed them an apartment. They gave me $50. I said, okay. He was going to give us the rest of the money alone. I think he get paid every 2 weeks. So I said, okay.
Why?
I'm a sucker for church folks.
Okay.
So he told me drama in the church and all this, and I wanted to try to help him. And finally, the bookkeeper said, if they can't come up with the rent, Doc, they're not going to be able to pay the rent.
Right. I mean, you're not doing them a favor. You're putting them in a position where they're going to fail if you do that.
So I rented, as he said, I rented the first apartment because they never did come up with all the money. So the last, I took him to East Orange, and I showed him an apartment in East Orange. That he was right. He said first he didn't want to move to East Orange. But when he saw it, he said, oh, I like that. Him and his wife said, I like that apartment. He said, but if you fix it, I said, I just painted it. I'm not doing nothing else to it. He said, you get me to paint, I'll paint it.
Wait, had you just painted it?
Yes. He didn't like the
Was there
color.
furniture in it from the old tenant?
There was some stuff in there, yes, ma'am.
Like what?
I have
Don't
the
look to
picture.
him. He's got-
Sofa.
Okay.
I don't know. It really didn't matter about Judge what was in it because they didn't have the money to move in. I have a crew that if they gave us the money, it could have been moved out right away. He said to me, okay, I'll paint it. I said, okay, I have the paint for you Monday. I gave him the key. He said, okay, I'll paint it, I'll do this. Because I told him I'm not doing nothing in this apartment. I took the paint up there.
Well, but you told me you would have moved the furniture if they had come up with the money?
Yes.
And they're saying they would have come up with the money if you had moved the furniture?
That's not true.
When is it
That's
that
not
when was he
true.
supposed to when were they supposed to have come up with the
Judge,
money?
If you look here, this went on for about 3 months.
Yeah.
I was stupid to just take this. And the bookkeeper finally said, Pastor, you can't do that. They're not, if they can't come up with the rent and security, they're not going to be able to pay the rent. I gave him the key.
Are you his pastor?
No.
Oh, okay.
I gave him the key. He had a paint party. He said he had a paint party. I went up
A
there.
paint party?
Is that what you call it?
A paint party?
No, ma'am.
It wasn't a paint party.
Him and
Oh,
my
you had a
brother.
bunch of friends over to help paint?
No,
It was
him and my
just
brother.
me and
Okay. Hardly a party, but go ahead. All right.
So he was going to give me the rest of the money.
At the paint party.
So I went up there. He said something came up. He didn't have it. The next week, he told me, I said, I tell you what, I'm tired of this. You give me the money. I said, just give me the money. He said, okay, if I don't have the money Friday, I'll give you the key back. Until he brought the key.
He brought the key on Friday?
I don't know what day he brought the key.
Okay, but he
brought
did bring the key back to you, but he never
Yes.
paid you the money.
Hadn't paid me.
But did
So-
he ask for his money back at that point?
I believe he said something about his money.
Okay.
And I said, there's nothing to talk about. I've been holding that apartment. There's nothing to discuss.
So, who takes advantage of who more, landlords or tenants?
Tenants.
Really? Why tenants?
They trash the place. They're in drugs and alcohol, and they won't listen.
They're all a bunch of drunks and druggies?
Not all of them.
Not all of them. But they do feel very entitled to things, and sometimes they feel that if something's not fixed, then they can just withhold rent, which is not the case.
This is the first time everybody said landlords that are tenants. That's interesting. Going inside the courtroom.
Mr. Gaddison, let me just ask you a question. Why should you be able to get him to hold the place for you for all those months, and then you can't come up with the money, and then he has to refund everything?
It wasn't the point I couldn't come up with the money. It was never ready. And I'm doing it for I got pictures. He's saying it was somebody, it was holes, everything in the wall.
But you're the guy who's supposed to be fixing it, and you are taking 2 months to fix it because you don't have the other $850 to go ahead and pay.
Nah,
so why is it taking 2 months?
I didn't really want to fix it.
See, here's the thing. When you say it was never ready, I'd buy that if you weren't the guy who's supposed to make it ready. That's what kind of gives you a little bit of a bad twist in the story.
He said he had a crew. Why didn't they do it?
Why didn't they? Why are you taking 2 months? Why? Why didn't your crew just come in and do it? Because he didn't have the money. See, it's which came first, the chicken or the egg? You know? But why didn't, no matter what, you had to get the place ready for somebody. So out of curiosity, why didn't your crew just come in and do it?
Judge, he said, okay, I like the apartment, but I said, I'm not doing nothing else to the apartment.
Oh, you had told him that you weren't going to do anything else.
He
so you
said,
painted it
get me the paint.
Let me see the pictures of how horrible the apartment was that you couldn't move in. Let me see them.
Now, the pictures you looking at most likely is when he's in there painting, whatever he's doing. Because I gave him the paint and I was finished with it until I got tired of waiting on him to come up with the rest of the money.
What is this a picture of?
That's a hole in the
walk-in closet?
Supposed to be. Every room I went in, it was a problem in. That's what was taking so long.
Judge, he said he was going to fix it. He kept having excuses why he didn't have the money. I wasn't doing anything else.
I believe this is a money issue and not a, fix-it issue. Because the things I'm looking at need fixing, but they're not that big a deal. And there's a reason why you're in there fixing them. And if you're the guy who's supposed to fix them already. Because this apartment looks pretty good. I'm finding in favor of Dr. Durr. That's my judgment.
All right, both sides.
So you just heard that decision as it goes against you and for the plaintiff. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, it's no problem.
It is a problem. We work hard for our money, and there was a lot of things that needed to be done. It never happened.
Well, what are you doing about living space now?
Oh, we definitely have somewhere to live.
You good?
Yeah, we're good. But it's a problem because we work hard for our money. We just don't give away $1,300.
So which comes first, the chicken or the egg, Mr. Gaddison? Which one is it?
Never been proven. Never been proven. Never been proven.
All right.
Thank you.
Which one does come first?
I think the chicken.
Why is that?
Because the chicken have to lay the egg.
Where'd the chicken come from?
That's another story.
Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, simple tip. If you're in a dispute with a landlord, you should somehow create a record of the conversations you have as they're going on. So, even if it means writing them down and sending them to the landlord by email, just so you can have some spontaneous record of what actually happened. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.